mentioned it before, I'm not a contractor, but I am pretty handy with tools, and I've done an awful lot of renovations. Over the years, I've done enough renovations to know that sometimes it's pretty fun to just completely smash things apart and take out the little pieces. Think about that for a minute though. Me as a landlord, if I smash something apart and then later on find out that I could have used it, that's money down the drain. I always make sure that I'm as careful as possible when I'm taking things out. The sink was pretty badly damaged, but somebody actually wanted it, so I gave it to them. The vanity I kept. I haven't used it yet, but you can never tell. I might wind up using it. Shower door, if I had have broken that, I'd have had an awful lot of glass to clean up. So basically, I'm just trying to make things as easy as possible. The bigger the piece, the easier it is to take out. Now, one thing I want to mention, this shower was fiberglass. Now, when you're dealing with fiberglass, always wear a respirator of some sort. I was wearing an N95 respirator, but that was a little bit later on. We're not going to discuss the mistake that I was making when I first started this.
Okay, so I gotta show you this. When you buy a house, you never know what you get. And if you take a look at here, you can see that there is nothing, absolutely nothing, behind the shower. It was dropped into this space. They put one board here to support the pipes, and you can see how far my arm goes in to touch the back wall. So they found a shower stall that was really cheap and installed it. There's nothing, absolutely nothing here supporting it. So all this time I've been thinking it felt like it wasn't sitting in there properly. There's a reason. It wasn't. So got a little bit more work ahead of me, but eventually I'm going to get this whole shower out of here and I'm going to rebuild it properly.
The shower is something I knew I wasn't going to use over again, obviously, because it was in very poor condition. But at the same time, I didn't want to smash it into little pieces. I already mentioned I'm wearing a respirator in that shot that you can see here. The reason is because there's little fibers, but there's also fibers that can get stuck in your skin, so you want to be careful of that. Don't breathe anything in, don't handle it with your bare hands, and keep it as big a piece as you possibly can. That saves you from getting little splinters. It took me quite a while to get this shower out because I couldn't see how it was being held in, and I didn't want to do any damage to any walls I didn't want to have to repair later. I have to say it was a little bit satisfying cutting it into pieces though.
So now you can see how they retrofitted the shower in here. And you can see the distance between where the shower was and the end wall. So I'm going to fix that. I'm going to put a shower pan in here and I'm going to tile it. I have to take all this wall off first, and that just became a little bit more difficult because I just found out it's plaster and it's not like drywall board where it breaks off in small hunks. This is going to break off in little teeny pieces, plus there's chicken wire underneath. So that's going to be a little bit of an effort. So I'm going to be doing that probably all afternoon. So I'm going to see what happens.
I gotta say, after finding out what was behind the shower stall, I could have had a little bit more fun taking that shower out. But you never know, so you want to be careful. You do any damage, you have to repair it. Now this wall wound up being more of a problem than I thought. I spent a long time trying to pull that wall apart. And again, you'll notice that I'm wearing an N95 respirator there, and that is because the wall was not your typical wallboard. There could be fibers in there that will get stuck in your lungs if you're not careful. So always wear something to protect you from particles flying around in the air. Took me about a half a day to take that wall out. It's a lot of work involved in it.
So I've done an awful lot of tear down in the bathroom. I had to remove the old shower. You saw some of the work. I took the camera out because it's too confined a space for me to be able to work in here and have the camera in here as well. So I'm going to do this in stages. So what I've done is I've torn everything out. I had to reframe an area for the shower, and I've now got the shower framed, and I've got a board on here. This is a board that's mildew and moisture resistant. So once I put the shower system in here, it's a really interesting shower system. It's a Schlueter system, if you've ever heard of it. If you haven't, check it out. It's pretty cool. Once I put that Schlueter system in here, it's going to be completely waterproof. So I'm going to get you to come on in and have a look at what I've done so far. Oh, hello.
Sorry, just shut out the light. That's my fault, sorry.
Okay, so this is what I've done so far. You can see that there's an awful lot more room in here. It's still not an awful lot of room, but there's an awful lot more room in here than there was. I've built it out a little bit more, and I've added a little bit more side to side. Probably maybe an extra 4 inches by an extra 6 inches. Not an awful lot. The old shower had to come out anyways because it was, well, it was junk. This is going to be tiled, and it's going to be a very good system with lots of extra space for them. So this is where I'm going to leave it for now. The next time what I'm going to do is I'm going to take pictures once I've got the Schlueter system on here, and then I'll take pictures once I've got tile on here. Once the shower is done, everything else is like a day's work. So I hope it looks good. I hope it's functional. I had to redo all the plumbing. It's not leaking. I'm a happy camper. So talk to you soon. So I've been working on the bathroom, and like I said before, there's not an awful lot of room in here for a tripod. So what I'm doing is I'm going to do periodic briefings. I've already shown you the roughing that I did for the shower, and then I showed you after I put the drywall on. The wallboard that I used was waterproof, but for an extra bit of water safety, what I'm using is I'm using the Schlueter system. It's the Kerdi system, and you can see it in here. It's the orange. On this side here, it's a felt, and it's waterproof. So what will happen is once I get this on, I put the tiles on top of that, and then this is going to be completely watertight. So I won't have any issues to worry about. What you do with this is that you put a thin set on the wallboard, and then you put this on there. You use a 1/4 inch notch. Once you've notched it out, you spread this onto there, and you take it, basically I'm using a drywall knife, and you smooth it out and make sure that you've got all the air bubbles out of there. Make sure it's on there really good. It's a great system. Once I've got it all completely done, I'm going to show you. I'll probably pop in again once I get some more of the system on there. So stay tuned. I think you'll like this system. So I've got some more thin set on here on the back wall, and what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to notch it out. I've got a trowel. It's a 1/4 inch notch, and I'm just going to notch it all out. I put it on pretty thick, so I've got an awful lot of excess here. When I notch it out, some of the excess is coming off, which is fine. You just want to make sure that the fin set is thick enough to hold the notch. Put it on pretty thick, and then notch it out. After you notch it out, if you notice any bare spots, go back and just cover those bare spots. Make sure you got it all completely covered. Okay.
So you're overlapping the corners,
Yep.
and that's what's going to give it a watertight seal. Okay.
Yeah, there's a little pattern on here which helps you to keep it straight, which is good because otherwise I wouldn't be able to keep it straight. But that pattern on the edge has a 2-inch gap where there's no grid lines. That gap is your markings to overlap if you need to.
So it sticks pretty easily, eh? To that thin set?
I'm actually I'm pretty impressed with this right now.
So you'd buy it for our next shower installation?
I'd like to avoid that, but if I have to, yeah.
I think it's ridiculous that we couldn't get, I mean, we wanted to use a fiberglass panel, and we couldn't get any, anywhere. Even this was hard to get.
Well, this was easy once we realized where we got it. It was kind of hard to source it out, but once we sourced it out, it wasn't that much of a problem. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it into the corners here. I want to make sure I get it in there as much as I possibly can. And once I've got it in there, I can push it down and make sure it sticks really good.
So I guess it doesn't really matter if you get some on the outside of it, because we're putting tile over it, and we're going to need the thin set again anyway.
This is the exact same stuff that I'm going to use for the tiles. So now obviously I don't want to get an awful lot of it on there, because the idea is to keep a nice clean surface free of any debris. And if this hardens, it's going to become a little bit more debris than I want. Now it is a little bit forgiving, so I can peel it off a little bit and I can put it back on as I need to.
Oh, or it can peel itself off. Oh, I shouldn't laugh.
Okay, there we go.
Are you going to put it on the ceiling as well?
Nope, the ceiling's not going to have any tiles on it.
Oh, right. We're painting that, I guess?
Yep. Okay, this is pretty much it. So it's an easy system to use. So far I'm liking it. I'll let you know later if that stands. But I'm going to go back to finishing this off. It's a little bit of fussy work right now, but I'll show you what it's like when I'm done. Talk to you soon. Thanks. So I've now got the Schlueter Kerdi system installed. So I just wanted to give you a quick look at this. You can see that there's a curb. That curb is going to allow shower tiles to go on it. It's going to stop water from coming out. You can see that there's a spot right there for the drain. I haven't put the drain in yet, but the drain will go in there. There's a collar that goes around it. The entire system itself is now installed, and what I can do now is I'm just going to put tile over top of this system. I'm going to use a small tile on the bottom for the floor. I think it's about a 1 inch square tile, or maybe 1.5 inch, and then we're using, I think it's 2 foot by 1 foot tile for all the rest. I think it's going to look pretty good when it's done. So we'll see you later on. Thanks. So another update. I've been holding off on the updates because I've been trying to get an awful lot of work done. It's been a bit of a challenge. Every time I turn around, I'm finding something else. But the good thing is I'm starting to get to the end of it. I'm very happy to hear that. Now it's just a little bit of the last minute stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, I'm going to show you everything that I've got done so far. So, been working in the bathroom. Don't know if you're going to get a really good shot of this, but the shower is absolutely done. It's ready to go. I have to do some caulking on it and that's it. The bathroom itself, the flooring is in. I think it looks pretty good. Toilet's back in, sink is in. I changed the light, but what I'm doing right now is I'm putting in a medicine cabinet. It's a medicine cabinet that could either be recessed or mounted right onto the drywall, sticking out a little bit. I didn't like the looks of it sticking out a little bit, so I actually decided to recess it. It's a pretty simple medicine cabinet, but I think it's going to look good when it's done. Let's go into the bathroom. This is my crown and glory here. The shower is completely finished. If somebody wanted to, they could have a shower right now, but there's no curtains, so please don't. Now, I showed the Schlueter system for the shower. I love it. I don't think I would use the membrane on the wall again, but other than that, it did a pretty good job. New light up there. I know that's bright, you can't see it too good. Cabinet was sunk into the wall. I really didn't think I was going to have the room for that, but I did. And of course, the floor has been redone throughout the entire apartment. It's the same floor throughout. I have a separate video for that because it's a system that a lot of people didn't understand when I told them what I was doing. They couldn't understand how I was going to have a floor that didn't need an underpad. But this floor is great. If you like the floor, have a look at the other video that I have, and maybe you'll want to redo your place with these floors because I think they're fantastic.